In the summer of 1954, a shy young truck driver carrying a battered guitar walked into Sam Phillips' tiny studio on Union Avenue in Memphis and impulsively sang "That's All Right" during a break, making the hair stand up on Phillips' neck. That single moment exploded into a revolution that saw him sell Elvis Presley's contract for $35,000 the following year. But what unseen bridge had one raw recording built between two worlds?
Welcome to Top Spot 40 Music Docuseries, where we bring the stories behind the music to life.
In the summer of 1954, a shy young truck driver walked into a tiny Memphis recording studio carrying a battered guitar and a dream. The man behind the glass wasn't looking for a polished star. He was hunting for something raw, honest, and alive. That man was Sam Phillips, and the sound he captured that day would shake the world. Sam Phillips grew up on a farm outside Florence, Alabama, during the hard years of the Depression. Even as a boy, he was drawn to the music drifting across the cotton fields, the field hollers and spirituals sung by black sharecroppers. Those voices moved him in a way he could never quite explain. Years later, he would say he spent his whole life trying to recapture the pure feeling he heard in those songs. That search would lead him to change American music forever. After working at radio stations in Muscle Shoals and then Memphis, Sam opened the Memphis Recording Service in 1950 with little more than a few microphones, a primitive tape machine, and an unshakable belief that the people society overlooked had the most important stories to tell. The studio was nothing fancy, just a cramped room above a radiator shop on Union Avenue. In the blistering Memphis heat, with the windows open and the fans turned off so they wouldn't hum on the tape, Sam began recording anyone with something real to say. He especially loved the blues. Howlin' Wolf, B.B. King, Ike Turner, and Rufus Thomas all walked through those doors. When Jackie Brenston and his Delta Cats cut Rocket 88 in 1951, many people consider that the first true rock and roll record. The distorted guitar, the driving beat, the pure youthful energy, it was all there. Sam knew he was onto something. He just didn't know how big it would become. What made Sam different was his ear and his heart. He wasn't looking for perfection. He wanted character. He wanted to hear the person behind the voice. He would tell musicians to just sing it like you'd sing it on your front porch. That simple instruction produced some of the most electric performances ever captured on tape. The slapback echo he loved so much gave the records a sense of space and excitement that felt brand new. It was as if the music was bouncing off the walls of a small southern roadhouse at 2 a.m. Then one day in August of 1953, an 18-year-old named Elvis Presley paid $4 to record a couple of songs as a birthday present for his mother. Sam's assistant, Marion Keisker, took note of the young man with the unusual voice. She wrote in her log, "Good ballad singer. Hold." A year later, Elvis was back, trying to find his sound. After several lukewarm attempts at ballads, Sam suggested they try something completely different. During a break, Elvis started fooling around with an old Arthur Crudup blues number called "That's All Right." The band joined in, and something magical happened. Sam later said the hair on the back of his neck stood up. When the song ended, he burst out of the control room and asked them what in the world they were doing. They didn't know. They were just having fun. Sam told them to do it again, and this time he rolled tape. That single recording of "That's All Right" didn't just launch Elvis Presley. It helped birth an entire new form of music. Sam Phillips had found the bridge between the blues and country, between black and white, between the past and a future nobody saw coming. When that record hit the airwaves on Dewey Phillips's radio show, the phone lines at WHBQ lit up like a Christmas tree. Kids who had never bought a record before suddenly had to have this one. What followed was nothing short of a revolution. Johnny Cash, with his deep, solemn voice, brought his first big hit, "I Walk the Line." Carl Perkins gave us "Blue Suede Shoes," a song so catchy it crossed every boundary. Then came the wild man from Louisiana, Jerry Lee Lewis, whose pounding piano and untamed energy made "Whole Lotta Shakin' Goin' On" sound like the devil had learned to play rock and roll. Each of them found their voice inside that little studio on Union Avenue. Sam treated them all like family. He'd stay up all night talking with them about music, about life, about their dreams. He gave them the freedom to be themselves when every other label in America was trying to make their artists sound like someone else. In an era when the South was still deeply segregated, Sam Phillips believed that music could tear down walls that politicians and preachers couldn't touch. And he was right. Of course, success brought its own problems. When RCA offered an unheard-of $35,000 for Elvis's contract in 1955, Sam made the difficult decision to sell. Many people thought he was crazy to let his biggest star go. But Sam understood something important. Elvis needed a bigger stage than Sun Records could provide, and the money would allow Sam to keep recording the artists he loved. Still, it was bittersweet. Years later, Sam would say that watching Elvis leave was like watching his own son walk out the door. The Sun sound continued to influence generations. Roy Orbison found his haunting voice there. Charlie Rich brought his soulful blend of country and rhythm and blues. The echoes of that little studio can still be heard in the music of Bruce Springsteen, Bob Dylan, the Beatles, and practically every rock band that followed. When you listen to the raw energy of early rock and roll, you're hearing Sam Phillips's vision. In later years, Sam received the recognition he deserved. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, celebrated by musicians young and old who understood that without him, the music they loved might never have existed. But Sam never saw himself as a genius or a pioneer. He saw himself as a man who simply gave talented people the chance to be heard. He once said his greatest satisfaction wasn't discovering stars. It was giving a voice to people who had been told their whole lives that nobody wanted to hear what they had to say. Today, when we listen to those scratchy old Sun records, we can still feel the excitement that filled that little studio. We can hear the moment when a shy boy from Tupelo found his courage, when a piano player from Faraday set his fingers on fire, when a man in overalls sang about walking the line with absolute conviction. Those moments didn't just create hit records, they created a new chapter in American culture. Sam Phillips showed us that sometimes the most important thing a person can do is listen, really listen, for the sound of something true. In a world that often rewards the safe and the predictable, he bet everything on the power of raw human emotion. And because he did, millions of people across generations have found joy, comfort, and courage in the music he helped bring into the world. So the next time you hear that unmistakable Sun Records slapback echo or feel your foot start tapping to an old rockabilly tune, remember the man sitting behind the glass with a cup of coffee and a dream. Sam Phillips didn't just discover Elvis, he discovered what happens when you give talented, passionate people the freedom to be exactly who they are. And that discovery changed everything.
Thank you for joining us for Top Spot 40 Music Docuseries. Discover all the stories behind the music at topspot40.com. Until next time, keep the music playing.